Let's take a look at the Eternal Wanderer, an Oathbreaker, and see what kind of deck we could build with her, what kind of signature spell might be best for her. If you're not familiar with Oathbreaker, it's like Commander, but instead of a legendary creature in the command zone, you have a Planeswalker, which is your Oathbreaker. You also have a signature spell, which is an instant or sorcery that you can cast as long as your Oathbreaker is on the battlefield. Alright, the Eternal Wanderer costs 4 white and starts at 5 loyalty. No more than one creature can attack the Eternal Wanderer each combat. +1, exile up to one target artifact or creature. Return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. 0, create a 2/2 white samurai creature token with double strike. -4, for each player, choose a creature that player controls. Each player sacrifices all creatures they control not chosen this way. Now, 6 mana for an Oathbreaker is quite a lot. I do like that we can -4 her right away though, and do a kind of pseudo board wipe. Let's take a look at what signature spells might synergize with that -4 first. Faith's Reward is a 4 mana instant. Return to the battlefield all permanent cards in your graveyard that were put there from the battlefield this turn. So you sacrifice almost all of your creatures and you cast Faith's Reward, get them right back. Brought Back is a 2 mana miniature version of that. Choose up to 2 target permanent cards in your graveyard that were put there from the battlefield this turn. Return them to the battlefield tapped. Sudden Salvation is Faith's Reward, but with maybe like a slight political upside to it. Choose up to 3 target permanent cards in graveyards that were put there from the battlefield this turn. Return them to the battlefield tapped under their owner's control. You draw a card for each opponent who controls one or more of those permanents. So you don't have to bring their stuff back, but if you do, you draw a card, and maybe you can strike a deal with them or something. Or you could do a similar thing in a different way with Clever Concealment and Teferi's Protection, phasing out all your stuff, so you don't have to sacrifice anything. The downside to doing it this way is that you don't get any Enter the Battlefield triggers when they come back. This would be a good time to mention that you could take this whole deck in the direction of blinking stuff, and try to maximize value on Enter the Battlefield triggers. Remember, her +1 says exile up to one target artifact or creature, return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. I really like that the Faith's Reward style cards synergize well with that strategy too. But there's a bunch more options. Cloud Shift is a single white mana instant, exile target creature you control, then return it to the battlefield under your control. You don't even have to wait till the next end step on this one. This is pretty nice. Eerie Interlude is a 3 mana instant, exile any number of target creatures you control. Return those cards to the battlefield under their owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. And Semester's End, a 4 mana instant, exile any number of target creatures and or planeswalkers you control. At the beginning of the next end step, return each of them to the battlefield under its owner's control. Each of them enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it if it's a creature, and an additional loyalty counter if it's a planeswalker. Both of these are great for mass re-enter the battlefield triggers, and they can also save your creatures preemptively from a -4. They could also be used defensively when your creatures are being targeted by removal or dying in combat. Against All Odds is kind of like a hybrid of Faith's Reward and Cloud Shift. For 4 mana, it's a sorcery. Choose one or both. Exile target artifact or creature you control, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. Or, return target artifact or creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Does a little bit of both. Nice. Because she makes samurais, I also want to mention Call to Glory and Imperial Oath. Call to Glory is a 2 mana instant. Untap all creatures you control. Samurai you control get +1/+1 till end of turn. And Imperial Oath, a 6 mana sorcery. Create 3 2/2 white samurai creature tokens with vigilance. Scry 3. These are not incredible cards, but if you wanted to build Samurai Oathbreaker, there you go. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, and consider subscribing if you like videos like this. I've got a whole bunch more of these Oathbreaker videos, so you could check out some of those too. Thanks for watching, and have a wonderful day.